weekend project. I'm Laura Lynn of the Mama Pop Quilt Shop, and we're very happy to see you here today. Today we're working on August's block of the month. I know a little late, but we still had to get her done. And it's called Pathway. Here's my little sample that I've done. I always do a sample first to make sure it looks so good, and I'm making a sample quilt of it with purple as pretty much the main color. And that's what it looks like, okay? Very easy half square triangles. I'm making 10 of them because to make 9, you kind of have to make 10, so one will go to the extra pile, and I'm fine with that. So what I'm doing on my lighter fabric is I'm cutting it in half. I'm making 2 half square triangles at the same time. I'm using my Omni Grid half inch ruler, and I'm taking and lining up the point of this square on that little black line, and same with down there, and I'm marking on either side, and that gives me my sew lines for this block. And I prefer to have a sew line than trying to ride my foot along a line or something like that. You know, I'm sometimes a bit of a crazy driver, so you know, we'll do it this way, okay? So we have 3 more to do, and these squares are 6 by 1/8. So 6 inch and 1/8 and 6 inch 1/8, and that is going to give you what you need to make your 16-inch square block out of these blocks that we're making, okay? So just a little light line on either side of the ruler, making sure you still line it up, and those are going to be my little sew lines. And then I'm going to put them right side together. Okay, there's that one there. I've done that one already. And this one here. Okay. And then we're just going to put them together, and we're going to make 10 half square triangles, but we only need 9. Okay, so there we go. Here's our right sides. And then since I marked on this side, this is my right side, even though it's cream, but you know, you get the point. Okay, line that up there. Line that up there. And then I'm just going to put them through the machine, feed them in one right after the other, and then flip and do the other side. You know, I'm not going to try and cut threads or snip threads or anything like that. Just going to feed it, and go, go, go. This is a great way, a fast way to do half square triangles. Okay. Okay, line that up. See, because that one only, if we did 4, we'd only get 8, and we need 9. So we have to do 1 more. And it's always fine to have something for the extra. Okay, move that just over a little corner a little bit. There we go. All right, so we're going to feed them in one after the other. And of course, I'm going to stand today. I've just put my pedal on the floor, and just so you can stand if you're having back issues, if you're having tailbone issues, or even sometimes shoulder issues. It might be best to just kind of maybe stand for a little bit. Some people can, some people can't, you know. Don't do it if it's not going to be good for you. Okay, and then just feeding it in, one right after the other. And I put my high performance plate and my high performance foot on, which gives you a nice accurate seam allowance when you're, you know, putting things together, because you just ride it right along the side of the foot. But I do like a nice stitch line, so I know exactly where I'm going. I don't like to be confused. And just snug it right up under. You're only having like 3 or 4 air stitches or air sewing of the thread before it starts picking up fabric again. And I find with my high performance plate and my high performance foot, I get less fabric jabbing down in the center as you're starting a project. That's where a lot of leaders and enders, or you know, little bits of fabric help stop and go as you're working on projects. That's another thing that's very helpful for that. If your machine has a tendency to jab up there. Okay, so now I've done all 5. Just gonna snip and flip the little kite tail and feed them all back in, doing the other side of it. And then I'm going to cut them apart right in the center. I'm going to line up my ruler at the 1/4 inch, and that makes sure that I'm a 1/4 inch from the other square, and it's going to go right down the center. Pretty much you're going to line up your ruler on the edge and the edge of the corners. Slice on down. I thought the whole block, the 16 of the blocks of these together looked really, really neat. In fact, that is definitely on my list of ones to create a big size quilt with the blocks that we've done for the block of the month. I really like this one. It's very simple, and but it gives you a nice big size too, and you can always border it up a couple of times. Because you got 4 across and 4 down, that's 16 blocks at 16 inches. That's a good size. Alright, so that's all 5. Okay, and then we'll cut, and then I'm just going to use my side little cutter here to cut my 2 sets of threads. Okay, because there's one for each side. Do a little wiggle. Okay, now we want to cut all these apart. So I take my bigger ruler, maybe not this huge big one here, but nonetheless a ruler. And you don't want to cut with this one. This is just for marking. Don't ever cut with this. You want something that you can put your hand on, keep your hand well away from the blade. So I'm going to line this up. Right on my 1/4 inch is going to be right on my stitch lines. And once I cut that right in half, it's going to give me 2 equal pieces with the same seam allowance on both sides. And one doesn't have 3/4 and one doesn't have 1/4, you know what I mean? It's everybody's equal in the pile. And when we go to press these, we press with the dark side up, and that pushes the fabric to the dark side, okay? So there's 2. 4. 6. 8 and 9. Okay, so this one will go in my bucket. I have a little bucket under my desk that's collecting all sorts of half square triangles, and we're just going to press these ones, the 9 that we need to put this block together, to the dark. Okay, just going to roll it nice and easy. If you hold up the darker of the 2, it'll just go that way naturally. Okay, and then we're just going to trim off those little tails, those tiny little tails. Okay. I really like these 2 colors together. That's why I chose to do it as my block of the month. These 2 very pretty soft colors together. And I think this would look amazing in Christmas colors, this whole block itself. You know, a red and a green, or a green and a gold, or, you know, anything like, just even Christmas, blue and white. Blue and white can be Christmas too. Blue sky, white snow. You get it. Oops, my corner folded under. Okay, so there's all 9 that I need, and like I said, I'm just gonna trim off the corners, and I don't really need a ruler for that because I can just go doop, doop, make sure that's done, put all the little tails off to the side, keeping my fingers away from the blade. You're just cutting the fabric. Okay. But you don't need these little tails. Oops, see, that pressed to the other side. One side of it did. Okay, there we go. Just reset it. Give a little trim. And then you just want to make sure you're laying it out in the proper placement for this block, for the pathway block, and you go from there. We actually had a couple of different names for it. Munchkin was wondering why I was calling it 3 points north and 2 points south, but maybe one of you can figure it out. All right, we don't need those little bits and bobs, so you can save and put them in a stuffy or whatever, you know, that's up to you. Okay, so I'm just going to make sure I'm laying my block out exactly like the one here that I've already done. And my representation of the pink is going to be the blue, and the lighter color of the pink is going to be the cream, okay? So here we go, and we're going to go that way, and then we're going to go that way. So that would be row number 1. And then we want to make sure we're following the pattern. There we go, here, and here. There we go. So that's row 1, row 2, and row 3. Build it up this way. Oh, that way. Nope, that's the wrong one. Okay, there we go. And then this one here. Okay, just want to make sure it is like that. It's got the little pathway there and the little pathway there. I think we're okay. All right, so we're just going to put them together. Just 3, 3, 3, and then just put those 2 together to the middle, and it's easy peasy. Okay, there's really nothing too major to line up because they are just half square triangles, so I'll just kind of work from right to left. And I just like to finish off each row at a time. You could sew these 2, those 2, and then add these ones on the side. I get easily confused by, you know, shiny objects and horn honking and birds twittering, so I like to just kind of focus and just do that one row, and just then I know it's all done. Okay. And then I'll press each row once I'm sure that I have them in the proper placement and everybody's good, and then I'll press them and then I'll sew the rows together. Hope you get a chance to join us tomorrow, Sunday, our live stream at 3 p.m. Eastern, and we're going to be finishing up the blue and green scrappy quilt I've been calling the wash machine. Quilts have to have names. Okay, so that should be row 2. Make sure I didn't get anything out of sync here. It still looks good. Looks like the first row. Okay, here we go. We have a wee bit on the salvage here for the white, but because of my 1/4 inch seam allowance, that's going to cover it, so I'm not too worried about there. But try to avoid that if you can. Any salvage, any of the dots, the stuff that keeps it on the machine as it's making the bolts, that sort of stuff. Trying to eliminate that from your project. It kind of, all of a sudden you saw this little white strip, it'd be distract from the eye for sure, right? Okay, so that's going to go there, and then we'll press each row. All right. Okay, there we go, making sure, yes, yes. Okay, so here's the bottom. Just give them a little heat loving before you put them all together, and then give the block a good press afterwards, okay? Just helps keep things nice and crisp. You can use starch if you like. That's up to you. You know, it's your project. All right, everybody's good. Okay, now I'm going to take 4 little pins that I have here, my cute and adorable birdie pins. I love these pins. So cute. All right, and I'm just going to put this side here. That's my middle, and I'm flipping to the middle. And I'm just going to pin up right at this little intersection here, making sure to flip-flop the seams so you don't have, you know, 4 seams on one side and none on the other. Okay, so you kind of just want to spread the weight of the seam, or the fabrics in between the seam, okay? So that's the middle pinned, and then I'll do the bottom pin to the middle, doing the same thing, flipping and flopping the seams if need be, and pinning it up, okay? And now we're just going to sew those 2 rows down, give it a press, and that is our August Pathway Block of the Month done, okay? And some people may find it's they're always up and down and up and down. It's easier for them to sew standing up, so it's up to you. Find out what's comfortable for you. Maybe if you're just doing a little piecing like this and you're always going over to the iron, you know, if you're working on a bigger project, I can see sitting down for it. But, you know, if you got 12 things on the go and cooking dinner and trying to get the laundry and multitasking, you know, 101. All right, so that's that one seam done. Now we're just going to flip to the other side and sew this one. And make sure as you're coming close to your intersection, you're removing your pin. And you're trying to keep a nice 1/4 inch seam allowance right up against that foot. Okay, and it's getting a little close, so I'll take my pin out and come all the way down. Alrighty, give that a press. There we go. Looks beautiful. And we only have 4 more to go, and then that's it. It's gone by so fast. I can't believe this is already block 8. There we go. Yeah, when you put many of these together, this block down here ends up making an awesome secondary pinwheel. And then there's like another twist in between from the lighter side. So it looks awesome and I absolutely love it. Thank you very much for watching, liking, and subscribing. Don't forget to check us out on Patreon. And we can't wait to see you tomorrow during the live stream. All right, take care, everybody. Have a fantastic day. Big hugs from the Mom and Pop Quilt Shop.